Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. It's your host Bex, and I'm so excited you decided to join me today while we talk all about what the algorithm is doing to our brains and digital dopamine. I am so excited about this topic. It's something I'm passionate about. I think it comes from spending so much time on social media, whether it's professionally or personally, and I see it firsthand, the results of social media, especially advertising and influencer marketing and using social for brands and businesses, that today I think it's really important to talk about. I feel like we spend so much time on these digital platforms, and there's a reason why these platforms put you on these channels for a reason. They keep you hooked with the algorithm for a reason. So I want to break it down in case you're trying to be a little bit more conscious about your consumption online, or if you're a brand or you're a business and you're looking to see how you can stand out amongst the mixed. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's dive right into the content. Ready to level up in 2025? Tune into Branding with Bex for insightful conversations, captivating guests, and practical tips. Whether you're on a walk, in the car, or getting ready in the morning, grab your headphones and let's dive into the world of branding together. All right, guys, it actually kind of blows my mind how I will just show up on this podcast literally dressed or wearing whatever or hair or whatever. So today I actually am just totally going for it with a look that is basically me coming back from working out. So today I just felt really passionate and excited to talk about this. So I'm not really all ready for the podcast, but I'm ready to talk and to yap. And as a professional yapper, here we go. So today we're talking about digital dopamine. Basically, the quick, science of digital dopamine is that it's dopamine equals reward plus anticipation. So with social media, you're getting unpredictable rewards like likes, comments, virality, and that can be highly addictive. If you are someone that is a creator and putting content out there, you may be addicted to those little dopamine hits and not even realize it. So this is why we keep checking social media when we're not even enjoying it, because you're subconsciously just checking this to see if you're going to get a dopamine hit from it. The algorithms are designed to keep us hooked in this infinite scroll. So the For You page is designed for you to keep you hooked and to keep you connected and scrolling and looking for more. The push notifications are behavior reinforcement. So when you get that notification to your phone, you get you could get that little dopamine hit where it's like, wow, this is exciting. Someone liked, commented, or sent me a message. And also, I didn't preface this episode, I am not an expert. This is just some information that I've gathered. I think it's so important to kind of dive into it more and just open up the dialogue. So certainly not expert, advice or anything like that. Algorithms don't prioritize meaning or the truth necessarily. So it's really just ways to keep you engaged. It's also not necessarily content that's going to help you in any way or increase your learning or knowledge, or really, there's not really a goal of benefit for you. The goal is to keep you on the app as long as possible. So you're actually not choosing what you consume when you go onto these platforms, if you're staying in that feed or that algorithm, because the system is just feeding what keeps you hooked and what keeps you scrolling. I've actually found for myself, and this is really interesting, that my algorithm isn't the most engaging for me. So what I did was, you can actually go in your Instagram settings and refresh it, and it will hopefully help with boosting, the content on your newsfeed. That's something that's more interesting for you to see. I think there's the For You page. Sometimes I can get stuck watching like funny cat videos or things like that. And before you know it, you're like, wow, 15 minutes went by and I didn't even look up for my phone. So it's just really being conscious of that. Something I do is I set timers on my phone. So I have a limit of how much screen time I can have each day on these social media apps. I am someone that is definitely choosing to spend my time there consciously to create, but I do also limit the amount of time that I'm spending on those platforms because it's really easy to get hooked. When you're a creator like me, there is a little bit of a creator dilemma, and I think we should really talk about this, as I think a lot of you are creators as well. And it's really about how this loop can affect creators. If you're checking views, if you're checking likes, if you're checking your follower count, you're starting to get really wrapped up in the numbers and the metric side, which is important for growth, but it also makes you think about the topic of, are you creating for validation or are you creating with intention? So when you're creating that content, are you creating it because you feel passionate about talking about something, or are you creating it for the external validation because it's going to go viral and get a bunch of likes, and you're doing it more so for the attention aspect? When we're feeling creatively stuck or anxious when content flops, that's another sign that you are maybe wrapped up in this dopamine dilemma. That's also, I think, a good indicator of when it's time to take a break as a creator. If you're feeling stuck, I don't think it's a good time to sit there and start scrolling through social media. I actually don't think it's going to help with encouraging you to be inspired and to create new content. I think it's a good time to take a break, to step away from the platforms, whether it be for a weekend or a day or even a night. I know sometimes these platforms are so addictive that it's so hard to get off of them. But if you can get off of them for even just a little bit, and that will help with your anxiety in terms of whether the content does well. It also will help with you feeling stuck and unmotivated. I know this is another platform, but Pinterest is actually one that I do feel like I get a little bit of inspiration from. So if I'm on Pinterest, the algorithm does a really great job of showing me new recipes, cute outfits, new things that are trending, and it helps me get inspired for content ideas without feeling like I'm stuck in this algorithm brain rot situation. When you are anxious about content flopping, it really can hinder your creative abilities and the content that you share. I am one that posts and I don't really check or care how it does, because I'm kind of at this stage in my content creation journey where I am doing this really a lot for fun, and it's more so for fun. It does have some great opportunities with it, but I wouldn't say it is something that I am going to spend my whole life and time doing. I really have a healthy boundary with social media, and this took a while. It's not something that is really easy to do. For many it may be, but I think with a lot of creators you can get wrapped up in it really fast. It's important to find that balance and to also try to avoid that anxiety of how the content performs. If you're proud of it and you're looking to grow your account, definitely look at those metrics and see what's landing with your audience, but don't get so consumed in how the actual content piece performs, because it could honestly go back to the time of day that you posted, or maybe, the algorithm didn't pick it up for some reason. Like, there's so many reasons why. It doesn't necessarily mean that your content isn't good. Here are a few signs of algorithm-induced burnout. If you're thinking, wait, this kind of sounds like me, I kind of need to check myself a little bit. If you're obsessively checking metrics, likes, follows, engagements, if you're creating content because you feel like you need to show up every single day, not because you're excited to show up every single day. If you're feeling anxious when you're not posting or you're not online, you feel like you're missing out, or you feel like you have to post in order to stay relevant, that is another sign of algorithm-induced burnout. And I think that's something a lot of creators can relate to. If you're losing touch with what you enjoy yourself. So if you started your Instagram sharing photography that you love to create, and now it's kind of turned into something else, you may be experiencing signs of algorithm-induced burnout, because your content went from creating content for fun that you loved to creating content that you know would land well with your audience, or you think your audience would enjoy. And there's actually two different buckets for that. So if you start to feel that way, now might be a good time for you to take a little break to avoid that burnout. If you're listening to this and you're like, wow, I do check my metrics and I am, creating content just to stay visible and it's not exciting me, or maybe you're feeling a little bit anxious when you realize you don't have a post prepared for that day, here are some strategies and ways that you can reclaim your brain, take some time off social media, and regroup. Because I'm not saying give up on your content creation journey. I am saying there's a lot of strategies to help you with longevity in this space. So setting tech boundaries, app timers, screen-free mornings and nights. I found that if I don't check social media in the morning, like first thing, I am actually less likely to look at it in the morning in general until maybe midday. Maybe that works for you, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you decide to do screen-free nights where after dinner you're like, hey, no phone anymore. Or maybe it's as simple as saying, I need to set 3 hours a day for social media. I know that sounds like a lot, but if you're a creator, it's really not that much. So maybe you set 2 or 3 hours a day of that's it. I can't go on Instagram after that. And your phone will actually alert you. It'll set the boundary for you. So your phones are strategic in that you can use them for good, or you can use them for not good. This is a great opportunity for you to dive into what your phone already has access to. Next, I would say detach your worth from your numbers. Focus on the depth of your relationships over the reach. So if you have an engaged audience that cares about the content that you're creating, and it's a small audience, it's way more valuable than a large audience that doesn't really care. Here's why. If you're looking to make sales, or if you're looking to really connect on a deeper level, you want a small connected group. If you have 5 people that buy an $100 product from you, that is more valuable than if you have 1 million followers and 3 of them buy the $20 item that you're sharing, or whatever. You could figure out the math, but you know what I mean. Detaching your worth from your numbers, it actually allows you to create a stronger sense of community with the audience that you currently have. And I think it's important to value and foster those relationships over stressing over creating new ones. Next, I would say create without immediately posting. I do this a lot with my Instagram stories. I never post in real time for Instagram stories. I've actually really stopped kind of posting Instagram stories, maybe like once a week. I'll do one every few days. I'll do one. And I've noticed that the engagement goes up on them, where I get way more views on them if I don't post every single day. And I realized that Instagram stories, goal for those is really to connect with the current audience that you have. It's not going to grow your page. So I wouldn't stress too much if you feel like you have to be on stories every day. You really don't. And I would also prioritize platforms that support mindful creation. So if you are passionate about sharing photos and Instagram's your platform, then go for it. I wouldn't stress about saying, oh, well, I need to show up on TikTok. I need to show up on YouTube. I need to do all these things. Really just focus on that platform that inspires you to create the content that you love. And these are just a few tips for, reclaiming your brain, avoiding that brain rot. And there's so many more, whether it be picking up a good book, trying a new hobby, going outside for a walk, taking some time away from the platforms. There's so many different great ways that you can do this, but these are just a few examples if you're looking to get started. And now I would say another great tip is to rewrite this dopamine action reward system that your brain may have developed. And this is a way to do this is really simple. So instead of those like scroll hits, you can replace that with real life dopamine, meaning you can go for a walk, you can do movement, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's, going to the gym or going for a jog or being in nature or connection or hanging out with your pets or whatever it may be. And then you can also ask yourself too, as you're scrolling social media, is this feeding me, inspiring me, teaching me new things? You can learn so much from social media. So I don't want to say like it's not a great place, because it's good in a way that you can learn a lot of information and you can, grow whatever business or brand you're looking to do. But if you feel like, wow, I'm feeling super drained and not inspired after this, it just might not be the best avenue for you right now. I would also say to redefine your success beyond the algorithm. So I wouldn't judge your content based on how one content piece performed within your audience. The reality is your content was shared with 10% of your audience. So that's actually for the first hour. So if that content performed really well with 10% of your audience, it'll get pumped out to more people. But only 20% of the world is on social media. So I wouldn't look to social media as like your defining factor in how successful you are. And like I said, if you have a small, close-knit community online that supports you, your sales will perform better, your overall business strategy will be way stronger. And that's really the goals you want to look at. You want to look at what you're doing to convert from social. So if you're looking to monetize social, that's something to maybe look into more, whether it's paid ads or, meta boosted posts or things like that, that will help you with growing your business and however you're looking to monetize. So I would redefine that success. 100 likes is great, but what did it get you? Like, not to be harsh about it, but if your post went viral, great, that's awesome. You got 1 million views. What happened? Like, what was the next step made that successful? Was it just that dopamine hit that you felt great because so many people watched you online? Or what was it that defined success? So that could be something like, we went viral and then I was able to maintain that audience to create a strong community, and then now I have all these great brand partnerships. Another example would be, this post performed really well, which is great, which converted to a lot of sales on Amazon, so I made a lot of commission. But I wouldn't look at the actual metrics of the Instagram post, like the comments or the likes or the amount of views that you got on a video, as success, because that's not the end goal. The end goal is converting it into something bigger than the social media platform. I would really just take a second to close with this reflective prompt that hopefully will help you. So think about how much of the time you spend on social media is intentional. Like, how much time are you realistically online so that you can create and edit those reels, whether it be on CapCut or Instagram's new feature edits? How much is it reactive? So how much are you saying, wow, I have a spare 3 minutes, let me pick up my phone and scroll? Or I'm in between whatever I'm working on, I'm going to pick up my phone and scroll. And really think about which one you more tend to do, and evaluate that. If you're someone that wants to be a creator, I am going to be online intentionally for 2 hours a day, and it's going to be on creating that content, editing that content, engaging with my audience, not absorbing what everyone else is doing. You should also think about what your digital life would look like if you stopped chasing that dopamine hit. How can you use these social networks or your online time for good, to strengthen the relationships you have, to grow your business, and really take some time to do that. I would also invite you to maybe take a detox or even just an audit. So for a week, really just take a look through the analytics on your phone and think about how much screen time you're spending and how much time you're spending on these apps, and to practice these mindful tech habits because they can go a really long way. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Branding with Bex. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you rated and reviewed, and I'll catch up with you all in the next episode. Same time work for you.